Hey hotties, how you healing? How you feeling? I'm Zenzi and this is Hotties Heal. So it's definitely been a minute since I've sat down and I've done this, and I don't really have an excuse other than I just didn't feel like it. And when it comes to sitting here and doing this, I want to make sure that I'm showing up as my best self, or at least I'm feeling inspired and connected to what I'm speaking about so that I can better articulate what I'm trying to say to whoever's watching. As an artist or a creative person, I need to feel inspired or at least connected to the things that I'm creating, and this is one of my creations, and I've been wanting to come back and sit down for a while, but I just haven't felt like it was right. And finally I decided to just do it because the new year is approaching, and I saw a video recently that I felt was a good topic to sort of close out the year. So, with the new year in mind, the topic that's at the forefront of my mind is closing out cycles and just closure in general. This is something that can be hard at times, you know. I also think I can credit my lack of inspiration and ability to sit down here is because, if I'm being honest, I feel like I had fallen back into old patterns and I didn't feel right preaching about things that I myself wasn't following the advice of. So yeah, that's probably why people haven't seen me in a while, but I'm back, and it's just a good reminder for everyone, including myself, that healing is not a linear process. And, you know, sometimes we may feel as though we've taken steps back, when in reality, sometimes we have to go back to learn more. When we're really done with things, we're done with them. We don't go back. And sometimes when it's hard to move on from certain things, that really just means that there's still more to be learned about yourself and how to better show up and support yourself in the future. So, as the year 2023 comes to a close, I, of course, have been thinking about what my resolution is going to be. And honestly, I don't really have a resolution per se. Not that I don't want to go into the new year with the intention to grow and be better, but like that's just an everyday thing for me. I'm always trying to just be better than I was before and find inner peace. It's sometimes easier than other days, but I guess my main goal would be to focus on fun, and that's it. You know, we have one life to live, and if we're not having fun, then what's the point? You can try to have fun with everything you do. Even if it's something that you don't necessarily want to do, you can make it more enjoyable for yourself by having a little fun. It's up to you to figure out how exactly you'll do that, but that's my resolution. The other thing that I think that I really want to emphasize and focus on is that I don't need closure, and neither do you. I heard someone say that the person who wants closure from a person or situation is the person who gave more than they got. But in reality, the closure of a situation is when that door closed. That is all the closure that you need. When a door closes on you, whether it be a job or relationship or friendship, show yourself enough love and respect to walk away from that situation. You don't need closure to heal. Give yourself that closure. Oftentimes, when we're seeking closure, it's because we feel like we can't heal on our own and that we need something from somebody else or a certain situation in order to feel better. When in reality, the likelihood, especially if you're dealing with another person who decided to ghost you or no longer continue the partnership or dynamic that you had going on, that is the closure. They don't care about giving you closure. That situation isn't worried about your feelings. And also, usually when people want closure, and I'm speaking from experience, anytime that I've wanted closure from someone, it's because I'm seeking for them to validate the feelings that are hurt of my own. And the likelihood that you're going to get what you want out of that situation is slim, especially because usually when people want closure, it's not exactly closure that they're seeking. It's an opportunity to see if things can change and be better. So this year, I'm challenging myself to really close out these cycles and to acknowledge when things are not good for me and walk away. There doesn't need to be an explanation or a long drawn out conversation. It's just, if my needs are not getting met in a situation and I've already tried to rectify it, the best thing that I know that I can do for myself is choose myself and walk away. We don't need closure. You don't need closure to heal. You don't need closure to move on. You don't need closure. You want it because you want someone to acknowledge your hurt feelings. And when we are searching for those types of validation, it usually comes from a place of lack. And the reason it's so hard to fill is because it's a part of ourselves that we haven't fully been comfortable sitting with. It's a neglected part of ourselves that we don't tend to, and so we're constantly trying to fill that void, when in reality, the only way to fill it is to go inside of it and sit in it. This is the year that we stop giving second and third and fourth chances. I mean, actually, I don't want to say second chances, because I think if you want to give someone or something a second chance to prove that it could be better, go for it. But we don't give third and fourth chances. You know what they say, 3 strikes, you're out. And that's fully something that everyone should live by, because if you keep going back to a situation that has consistently disregarded your feelings, your boundaries, etc., the likelihood that it's going to change is very slim. Also, when you give so much of yourself and consistently allow situations, jobs, people, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends to cross your boundaries, they likely do not respect you, and they're not going to ever if you stay. I had to learn that the hard way, especially because I want to believe that people are inherently good, but sometimes people just really don't know how to treat other people, and it's up to you to set the precedent of and standards of how you want to be treated. So, you know, I look back at certain situations in my life, both professionally, romantically, and from a platonic standpoint, and I just kind of cringe, because I wish that I had known then what I know now, because I would not allow or tolerate that type of behavior or treatment. but I didn't, but now I do. And there's not going to be a big to-do with me trying to force anyone to acknowledge any type of wrongdoing. I'm simply just going to quietly bow out and let that be that. The best revenge is no revenge, and silence is simply golden. I don't need to explain myself to you or anyone. Everyone should have that same criteria when it comes to how they are moving in relationships. And I'm not saying like if you do something crappy that you should just not own up to it. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that if someone is not treating you well and someone is not living up to your standards and your expectations, and you've made those clear from the beginning, and people are consistently disrespecting and crossing your boundaries, that's enough. That's all you need to know. You don't need to figure it out any further. You don't need to talk to them about it. You just need to go. And if they value you as a person, they'll come around and they'll be like, hey, like, what happened? And if they don't, they won't. And then you're better off because now you know. So this year, I'm doing all that I can to support myself better, to have fun, and to make sure that I'm not repeating the same mistakes. Lessons have been learned, hearts have been broken, tears have been shed, but there's also been a lot of laughs and a lot of growth. And all I can do is make a vow to myself to stay centered, even in times of turmoil, because Lord knows life is full of wonky stuff sometimes, but just do what's best for you. Take care of yourself and don't let people bring you down to their level. Respect yourself enough to know when enough is enough, and be compassionate to yourself and to others. And don't let anyone take advantage of your kind nature. As someone who is or does their best to be kind, it's easy to get taken advantage of, and it's easy to let things slide and to forgive and forget. But it's better, and I'm not saying don't forgive, just don't forget. And forgiving doesn't mean that you have to have certain people in your life. It doesn't mean that you should tolerate certain behaviors that don't feel right to your mind, body, and spirit. It just means not holding on to that pain and that hurt because it's not doing anything to contribute to your life in a positive way. So that's all I have for you guys today, and I hope everyone is staying safe and warm this holiday season and having a happy new year. All right, bye hotties. See you next time.